Anna opened her eyes just before the alarm rang. It was still dark outside. The small clock on her bedside table showed 6:27 a.m. She reached out and turned the alarm off before it could beep. She liked waking up before the noise. It gave her a few quiet moments to breathe and think. Her room was small but cozy. A few drawings were pinned to the walls, simple ones she had made when she couldn't sleep. A sketch of her mother watering the garden, a picture of the bakery where she worked, a bird she had seen sitting on a tree outside her window. She got up slowly and stretched her arms. Then she walked to the kitchen and turned on the kettle. While the water boiled, she looked out the window. The sun was rising behind the hills. The sky was soft orange. A bird chirped. It was a peaceful way to start the day. Anna lived in a small town called Willow Creek. Everyone knew each other. People waved when they passed by. Some even knew your birthday. It was the kind of place where nothing much changed. But Anna didn't mind. She liked quiet things. She liked slow mornings and warm tea and the smell of fresh bread. After making tea, she prepared her breakfast: 2 slices of toast, a boiled egg, and a little butter. She ate quickly, brushed her teeth, tied her hair in a ponytail, and put on her work apron. Then she stepped outside. The bakery was only a 10-minute walk from her house. The streets were calm, with just a few early risers sweeping their porches or walking dogs. When she reached the bakery, the door was already open. Mr. Harris, the owner, was inside, placing fresh loaves on the wooden shelves. "Good morning, Anna," he said with a smile. "Morning, Mr. Harris," she replied, tying her apron tighter. The smell of warm bread filled the air. It was the smell of comfort, of routine. Anna liked working here. She liked kneading the dough, mixing ingredients, and serving customers. But sometimes, when she looked out the window while wiping the counters, her mind drifted far away. Because Anna had a dream. She wanted to be an artist. She had never told anyone, not even her mother. Drawing was her secret world. When she sketched, she felt calm. When she painted, she felt alive. But dreams like that didn't seem possible in Willow Creek. No one talked about galleries or big cities. People worked, raised families, and stayed close to home. After work, Anna usually came home around 4 p.m. She helped her mother with dinner, watered the garden, and then disappeared into her room. That was when her real world began. She took out her sketchbook and pencils and sat by the window. Her drawings weren't fancy. They were soft, quiet pictures. A mother brushing her daughter's hair, a dog sleeping under a chair, a boy flying a kite. Small moments that made her heart feel full. One evening, her mother knocked gently on the door. "Dinner's ready," she said, then paused. Her eyes fell on Anna's sketchbook. "That's lovely," she said, pointing at a picture of the town square. Anna quickly closed the book. "It's just practice," she said. Her mother smiled. "Still, it's beautiful." That night, Anna lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Maybe I should try to show my drawings to someone. Maybe I didn't have to keep them hidden forever. The next day, while walking home from the bakery, she passed the public library. On the wall outside was a small notice board with colorful flyers pinned to it. One of them caught her eye. It said, Local art wall. Share your talent. The library was looking for artwork from people in the town. Anyone could bring their drawings and hang them on the wall for others to see. Anna stood there for a long time. Her hands felt sweaty. Her heart beat faster. Then she shook her head and walked away. But the thought stayed with her all night. The next afternoon, after much thinking, she chose 3 of her drawings. She placed them carefully in a folder and walked to the library. The librarian, a kind woman named Mrs. Bell, looked up and smiled. "Hello, dear. Can I help you?" Anna took a deep breath. I'd like to put these on the art wall." Mrs. Bell opened the folder and looked at the drawings. Her face lit up. "These are lovely. Of course you can hang them. There's space near the window." With shaking hands, Anna pinned her pictures to the wall. Then she walked out before anyone could say anything else. The next few days, she passed the library but didn't go inside. She was afraid someone might laugh. But on the 4th day, curiosity won. She entered quietly and walked to the art wall. A small girl was standing in front of her drawing of a dog and a boy. "I like this one, Mama," she said. "It looks like Max." Anna felt a warmth in her chest. No one had laughed. A child had smiled. That night, she picked up her pencil and started to draw again, this time with a little more hope. Weeks passed. People started recognizing her drawings. Someone even left a note under one of them. "Thank you for this. It made my day." Then something unexpected happened. One day, a woman from the city came into the bakery. She had short, curly hair and glasses, and she ordered a croissant and coffee. As she waited, she looked at Anna. "You're the girl who drew the pictures at the library, aren't you?" Anna blinked. "Yes, I am." The woman smiled. "They're wonderful. I work at the City Art Center. We're holding a contest next month. You should enter." Anna felt her stomach twist. "Me? A contest?" The woman handed her a card. "You have talent. Don't hide it." After she left, Anna stared at the card for a long time. Was this real? That night, she sat on her bed, holding the card. The contest was in 3 weeks. The theme was the heart of the town. Artists had to submit 1 painting. She had never entered a contest before. She didn't even own real paint supplies. But inside her, something had started to grow. A little voice that said, "Try." The next day, she bought a canvas and some paints with her savings. For 2 weeks, she painted every evening. She painted her town. Its people, its bakery, its market, its laughter. But she painted it the way she saw it. Bright, magical, full of small dreams. On the last night, she signed her name in the corner, Anna G. She named the painting My Willow Creek. She wrapped it carefully and sent it to the address on the card. Then she waited. Days passed, then a week, then another. She tried to forget about it. But one rainy morning, a letter arrived. She tore it open with shaking hands. "Dear Anna, congratulations. Your painting has been chosen for the final exhibition. Please join us in the city next Saturday." Anna stared at the letter. Her hands were trembling. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She ran to tell her mother, who hugged her tight and whispered, "I always knew you were meant for more." The week before the trip went by slowly. Anna was both excited and scared. She had never traveled to the city alone before. She wasn't used to big crowds, tall buildings, or noisy traffic. But she kept telling herself, This is your chance." Her mother helped her pack a small bag. She placed a dress inside, blue with little white flowers, and a pair of shoes she usually saved for church. They also packed a sandwich, a bottle of water, and an umbrella, just in case it rained. On Saturday morning, Anna stood at the train station. The platform was quiet. A few people stood nearby, holding bags or sipping coffee. The train arrived with a loud whistle. She took a deep breath, stepped inside, and sat near the window. As the train moved forward, the hills of Willow Creek slowly disappeared behind her. The trees turned into houses, the houses into tall buildings, and soon the city came into view. It looked so big, so fast, so alive. When the train stopped, Anna followed the signs to the street. She looked at the small paper in her hand. It had the address of the art gallery. She walked slowly, holding her bag tightly. Cars honked. People talked loudly. Everything felt loud and busy. But then, just around the corner, she saw it. The gallery was made of white stone and had large glass doors. Inside, people walked around quietly, looking at paintings. Some wore suits, others wore dresses and heels. Anna suddenly felt small. Her heart beat faster. She looked down at her shoes. They were a little dirty from the rain. She walked up to the front desk. "Hi, I'm Anna Green. I'm part of the contest." The woman behind the desk smiled. "Welcome, Anna. Your painting is already hanging. Room 2, on the left." Anna nodded and followed the signs. When she stepped into room 2, she gasped. There, on the wall, was her painting, My Willow Creek. It looked different here under the soft lights, more colorful, more alive. People were standing near it reading the name tag. A man in a gray sweater turned and smiled. "Are you the artist?" Anna felt shy. "Yes, I am." He nodded. "It feels peaceful, like home." That one word, home, made Anna's chest fill with warmth. For the next hour, she walked around the gallery. She saw many paintings, bright, bold, strange, and beautiful, but none of them felt like hers. Hers was simple, quiet, just like her. Near the end of the event, the judges gathered. One of them, a woman with silver earrings and a deep voice, stood in the center. "We are proud to share the winner of this year's art contest. This artist painted something that touched all of us. It reminded us of kindness, of place, of the small beauty we often miss. The winner is Anna Green for My Willow Creek." Everything went silent. Then the room clapped. Anna stood still for a moment, not sure what to do. Her hands were shaking. Then someone pushed her gently forward, and she walked to the front. The judge handed her a certificate and a small check. She didn't hear all the words, but she saw smiles, felt hugs, heard kind voices. It was the happiest moment of her life. After the event, the woman from the City Art Center, the one who had visited the bakery, came up to her again. "You have a gift, Anna. We'd like to feature you in a Young Artists program. You'd take classes, meet other artists, and even show your work in other cities." Anna blinked. I don't live here." The woman smiled. "You don't need to. We'll help with travel. You just need to say yes." Anna looked around the gallery one more time. It didn't feel so big anymore. "Yes," she said. "I want to try." That night, she took the train home. She held the certificate in her hands the whole way. She looked out the window, thinking about everything. The quiet hills came into view again. The stars started to shine. When she stepped off the train, her mother was waiting with open arms. "I'm proud of you," she whispered. So life changed, slowly but surely. Every other weekend, Anna traveled to the city for art classes. She met people from many places, some loud, some shy, some full of ideas. At first, she felt like she didn't belong. But then she realized they were all just learning too. She learned about colors, light, texture. She visited museums, tried painting outside, and even learned how to talk about her art with confidence. Back in Willow Creek, people started asking about her drawings. The bakery displayed her sketches in the windows. The library asked for more. Even the school invited her to teach kids how to draw. And Anna said yes. One day, a little girl walked up to her with a drawing. She said, "I made this after I saw your picture at the library." Anna looked at the paper. It was a drawing of the town's lake, with ducks and trees and a bright pink sky. Anna said, "It's beautiful. Keep drawing." The little girl smiled and nodded. More time passed. Seasons changed. The hills turned green, then orange, then white with snow. Anna kept drawing. She drew the bakery in the rain, the library during sunset, the way her mother smiled when she gardened. Her art became a diary of the town. One afternoon, she received an email. It was from a gallery in another city. They had seen her artwork in a magazine. They wanted to speak with her. She traveled to meet them, unsure what they wanted. The office was filled with books and paintings. The editor smiled warmly and showed Anna a sketchbook. "We want to publish this," she said. Anna blinked. That's my sketchbook." "Yes," said the editor. "Your drawings, your story. We'd like to create a book about your journey." Anna's heart pounded. "A book?" she asked. "Yes, for children, for dreamers, for anyone who needs hope." Anna got quiet for a moment. She thought about the first drawing she ever made, the quiet picture of her town with purple skies and soft hills. She thought about the fear she used to feel, the way her hands shook when she first shared her art. And now, someone wanted to turn that journey into a book. She nodded. "Yes, let's do it." It took months. She worked with editors, wrote simple text, redrew some pictures. They titled the book, "The Town That Dreamed." When it was done, Anna held the first printed copy in her hands. It smelled like ink and paper and possibility. She read the first line out loud. "In a quiet town with slow streets and soft skies, a girl dreamed in colors no one had seen yet." The book went to schools and libraries. Children held it in their hands, teachers read it in classrooms, parents read it at bedtime. And somewhere in a town far away, a girl picked up a pencil and began to draw. Years passed. Anna still ran her studio, she still taught classes, but she also traveled now, to speak at schools, to visit new artists, to share her story. She never called herself famous. She never called herself special, but people remembered her because she made them believe that they could be something more, that their stories mattered, that their quiet voices had value. One afternoon, as she walked through the garden behind the studio, she saw her old sketchbook on a bench. A child had left it open. The page showed a small drawing, a girl